My fellow citizens of all nations. Rubaiyat of OmarKhayyám. It's very interesting who this person was. He was great Persian mathematician, astronomer, philosopher and poet. He was born in Nishapur, northern Persia, and he lived during 11th century. And it's a very different time. And we can see that he has unorthodox approach toward religion. He criticizes it. He is very skeptical and cynical related to religion. But at the same time, he is a very prudent character, and probably he realizes that if he were to say things directly, it won't help him. Only thing he will achieve will be execution. He will be killed, essentially. So he's trying to tell his message prudently, because he's a very prudent character, generally, and very brilliant mind, and he has a very, very brilliant mind. And some people may disagree about it and say that, oh, he isn't criticizing religion here at all, and it's not a criticism of religion. But I mean, that's the thing about poetry. Poetry, first of all, it's very difficult to translate, and it can have a multiple meaning as well. But let me go through these notes, and you will realize what exactly I will mean, because we are going to explain to you these notes as well. So let's start. Where name of slave and sultan scarce is known, and pity Sultan Mahmud on his throne. Interesting thing, he says, about Sultan. How sweet is mortal sovereignty. Think more, others, how blessed the paradise to come. Ah, take the cash in hand and wave the rest. Oh, the brave music of a distant drum. How blessed the paradise to come. And he says, answers this to this saying of how blessed the paradise to come with this: ah, take the cash in hand and wave the rest. Like be the realist, essentially. The worldly hope men set their hearts upon turns ashes, or it prospers and anon. Like snow upon the desert's dusty face, lightning, a little hour or two is gone. This is what life is. Hour or two and it's gone. Basically, shortness of life. Ah, my beloved, fill the cup that clears. Today of past regrets and future fears. Tomorrow? Why tomorrow? I may be myself with yesterday's 7,000 years. It's a great thing to say before, when you take the glass and toast the cup and say that today of past regrets and future fears. Tomorrow, why tomorrow? I may be myself with the yesterday's 7,000 years, and drink the wine. So it's clear that he genuinely loves wine. And we that now make merry in the room, they left and summer dresses in new bloom. Ourselves must we beneath the couch of earth descend ourselves to make a couch. For whom? Ah, make the most of what we yet may spend, before we too into the dust descend, dust into dust, and under dust to lie. Sense wine, sense song, sense singer, and sense end. A muezzin from the tower of darkness cries, fools, your reward is neither here nor there. And now it's very interesting to analyze who muezzin is. Basically, muezzin is a man who calls Muslims to prayer from the minaret of a mosque. This is a muezzin. I didn't know it before. And here what he says about this person, essentially. A muezzin from the tower of darkness cries, fools, your reward is neither here nor there. Obviously, muezzin doesn't shout this from. But here's what he says, the Omar. A muezzin from the tower of darkness cries, fools, your reward is neither here nor there. Why? All the saints and sages who discussed of the two worlds so learnedly and thus, like foolish prophets forth their words to scorn, and are scattered, and their mouths are stopped with dust. Oh, come with old calm, and leave the wise. To talk one thing is certain that life flies. One thing is certain, and the rest is lies. The flower that once has blown forever dies. It's this simple sentence. It's an art. How well it is said. Oh, come with old calm, and leave the wise. To talk one thing is certain, that life flies. One thing is certain, and the rest is lies. The flower that once has blown forever dies. Myself when young did eagerly frequent doctor and saint, and heard great argument about it and about, but evermore come out by the same door as in I went. With them the seed of wisdom did I sow, and with my own hand labored it grow. And this was all the harvest that I reaped. I came like water, and like wine I go. In this universe, and why not knowing, nor whence like water willy-nilly flowing, and out of it, as wind along the waste, I not whither willy-nilly blowing. Then to the rolling heaven itself I cried, asking, what lamp has destiny to guide her little children stumbling in the dark, and a blind understanding? Heaven replied. Look, what he says here. A blind understanding, heaven replied. I guess yourself what he means here, what he's talking about. While you live, drink, for one dead you never shall return. Lover of the wine. Fill the cup, what boots it to repeat? How time is sleeping underneath our feet, unborn tomorrow and dead yesterday. Why fret about them if today be sweet? For is and is not thoughts with rule and line, and up and down without, I could define. I yet in all I lonely care to know, was never deep in anything but wine. The mighty Mahmud, the victorious Lord, that all the misbelieving and black horde of fears and sorrows that infest the soul, scatters and slays with his enhanced teeth sword. Now, if you remember that this is written by a prudent character, you can analyze what he's saying here, because he's living in the 11th century. It's a completely different world, and yes, this is how he expresses his saying. But leave the wise to wrangle, and with me the quarrel of the universe let be, and in some corner of the hub couched make game of that which makes as much of thee. The moving fingers writes, and having writ, move on, nor all thy pity nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all thy tears wash out a word of it. O thou whom men of baser earth did not make, and who with Elden did not devise a snake, for all the sin wherewith the face of man is blackened, man's forgiveness give and take. Like how he says, give and take. It's like two important things to remember in life is to live and let live, and to give and take. Another said, why ne'er a perish boy would break the bowl from which he drank in joy? Shall he that made the vessel in pure love and fancy in an after rage destroy? Be calm. With the grape my fading life provide, and wash my body whence the life has died, and in a winding sheet of wine lip wrapped. So bury me by some sweet garden side. I swore, but was I sober when I swore? It's interesting thing to say. I swore, but was I sober when I swore? Interesting question. And much as wine has played the infidel, and robbed me of my robe of honor, well, and much as wine has played the infidel, basically. When essentially, when wine became an infidel, it's you can make a clear conclusion from this statement yourself, because he obviously don't agree with it. He loves wine, and he doesn't understand why wine is sort of forbidden fruit. Love, could you and I with fate conspire to grasp the sorry shame of things entire? Would not we shatter it to bits and then remold it nearer to heart's desire? Love, could you and I with fate conspire to grasp the sorry shame of things entire? Interesting what he says. That if you look at from again, remember that he's a prudent man. Like to grasp the sorry shame of things entire. Would not we shatter it to bits and then remold it near to the heart's desire? This is the end of Rubaiyat of OmarKhayyám. And it would be interesting if you were to share what you think about this notes I read from his work, and what you think about my analysis of his poetry, basically, because the poetry generally has this characteristic that it can be understood in multiple ways, and it's very difficult generally to translate it. And at the same time, one thing in poetry can mean multiple things. And yes, it would be interesting to see what you think about the way I see this thing. And it's really clear that he's a prudent character. So we should not forget that moment, because what a prudent person means is that prudent character won't say things directly, will say it indirectly and subtly, because I mean, even if he said things directly, it would not have a point. And I mean, if we were here like ridiculously direct, we would not have Rubaiyat today, because it would be burned and he would be executed. But he lived a quite a long life because he was a prudent man. So let me know what you think about his. How do you understand those things? And Muezzir, for example, from the Tower of the Darkness cries. How would you understand this thing, or his approach toward where wine became an infidel, and etc.